glory to
Yahweh
We also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Well, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. And we are the GMS Mississippi Camp here doing a new moon service, all right, which is every new moon. And just a little info on that. Every time there's no moon, there's the new moon. All right, the Most High deals with cycles in His creation. Okay, so the moon has 4 quarters, right? It has a waxing phase and a waning phase, man. And when it wanes back to zero, or you look in the sky, there's no moon. That's the reset. No moon is new moon. Then it builds back to its waning phase. I'm sorry, to its waxing phase. All right, which takes about what 29.5 days. All right, and that's a 4-week cycle. So it goes from zero, which is the new moon. That's the reset. That's what zero is, the reset. All right, and then it waxes to a full moon, which is halfway. So anytime you see a full, complete circle in the sky, that's 50%. That means you're halfway between new moons. All right, go ahead.
Hey, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times.
And the word moon means month.
That's right.
The word moon means month. Right. So you measure the months through the moon.
Well, no, month means moon.
I'm sorry. The word month means moon.
Right.
And you measure the months through the moon for water.
And a sign of the world. Verse 7.
Yep.
From the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection.
What does it mean to decrease? She wanes.
Right.
She wanes. All right. When she decreases, she's waning. So what happens is, let's say you have a full moon, which is that's the middle of the new moon. That's you're in between the new moons. You're 2 weeks after the new moon and 2 weeks before the new moon. So after she waxes to a full moon, she's going to start decreasing.
Right.
All right, decreasing, and she's going to start waning. All right.
In verse 8, the month is called after her name.
Yep.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmaments of heaven.
Increasing is her waxing phase. All right, you got something?
It's Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. And the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
There's a moon, Elder Yashimai from the affiliate camp. He was like, we got the hunter moon coming out. He was like, just look it up. And I looked it up. It went back, and this is like, I want to say November, December, but the hunter's moon is the moon that signals to basically hunters that now deer is gonna come out. So I think it's like a plus size moon, but it's basically saying the weather's finna shift to cold, and now the deer is finna come out. We're entering deer season, so they call that moon the hunter's moon, just to prove that the moon is for signs, man.
That's the point on it.
Okay, come on,
I got both of them. This is the word waning. It says for the moon to wane away, it means it's transitioning from a full moon to a new moon, becoming smaller and less illuminated each night. And then the Edamon
This is what changed. You know?
The Edamon says, especially the periodic lessening the visibility of the moon.
the periodic lessening. So you got the increase and a decrease.
Decreasing in her perfection.
Meaning she's starting to wane. She's waning from that full state, halfway between new moons, or she's decreasing back to that zero, which is the cycle, the reset, which is the new moon.
That clock in the sky.
That clock, come on, man.
Because you watch ancient movies, even when they would have war council, you know, you might hear the general or the king or the captain. He said, "Well, we'll invade in 2 moons."
Mm-hmm.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So they would set even war and invasions based off, you know, the moons. Right?
And I know Gad measured those moons too.
Sure.
Let's say many winters ago.
You know?
All right, many winters, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, the Most High deals with those signs. That's why you have a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse.
So just lamb back, just to add, because I know you'll watch some of those ancient movies. They'll have this particular what you call it? It's like a clock for the sun, like this what's it called?
Sundial.
Yeah, sundial, and that's how you would count the hours based off of the sundial. So so the sun, like we able to tell the time, like the hour of the day, with the moon, like you're going into like for the months.
And that's a calendar. That's a system, man.
What's the term?
All right.
Hanu?
Caprice Lamar, you got it.
It's just the writer one which I was going to from Chat GPT. It says timekeeping and rituals. The moon's phase helps structure religious festivals, agriculture, and daily life. Full moons and new moons often mark important days for worship and social gatherings.
And then you mentioned agriculture. What I've learned, the new moon and the full moon, I think it's according to the Farmer's Almanac. The new moons and the full moons pull the water up out of the soil. So farmers, they'll measure those new moon cycles to determine when to plant certain crops. Because once again, just how the moon being a satellite pulls water out of the ocean and it causes tides, all right? The new moon and the full moon, they pull water up out of the soil. And people too. That's why you have something called a lunatic. All right, go ahead, priest. Captain Shaquat.
Can I say this, dude?
Yep.
Say this?
Yep.
So where they get that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from?
It's not in the Bible.
It's not about.
It's not.
Gregorian calendar,
Hey,
the Roman
but it-
calendar.
I think each one of the days goes to like one of those Greek mythologies. Yeah, the Greek Roman gods.
But y'all hear that tornado siren? It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the first of the month. That's their sign.
June 1st.
June 1st. June
This,
1st.
Matthew 17:15 gets to the point. I saw in verse 14. It says that when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, Yahushua, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he fallen into the fire and out into the water. So lunatic, it goes to like a genetic disorder, it causes like trauma or seizures or things of that sort. But once you go to lunatic in the Elamite online, it says epilepsy being supposed to return and increase with the increase of the moon.
So he's triggered by the moon, the cycles of the moon.
The full moons, the new moons. It poured his water because you were made out of water and it activated them.
That's right. You have control of it.
Right. It aroused them. Captain Tom.
It's just, you know them crazy that movies, like werewolf movies.
Yep. Yep.
Teen Wolf, like on the moon, a full moon.
Hey, what's another one? A woman.
Right. He's on her moon.
What they call a cycle. A cycle. It's cycling.
It's like
It's cycling. That's how the moon has a cycle.
And she don't have any emotional control during that time.
During that time.
That's why it's very high emotional.
Hey, y'all work with certain women on a job. If a woman kind of get out of character, she get a little snappy. Look at the calendar. It might be the end of the month or the beginning of the month.
It's her time.
It's her time.
they be pissed off too.
Well, she kind of bitchy right now. Yeah, she got to. Hey, Captain Support.
Yeah, just back you all up. It's Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Hey, but you know what? We basically entered into a different shift within prophecies. All right. But a lot of times, I speak as a man. A lot of times, those shifts on the planet Earth, that is signaled by the moon. Like you might see a blood moon in the sky, but that's about to change something in the planet. You'll see that blood moon, and that's about to. And now we're in the time everybody is wilding. They got brawls at graduations, man. All right, people. Hey, just in this little city alone, it's shooters that don't even make the news. Somebody gets shot at the red light.
In Fayette County yesterday, they had a festival. The Fayette Festival. One dead, numerous injured in critical condition.
It's Fayette County. Is that in Mississippi?
Yeah, that's Jefferson.
Yeah.
Damn.
Said brawls at the moon.
Now I get anxiety when people think about events. People start talking about certain events that's going to consist of a lot of people. Man, I be like, man, I ain't trying to,
You just go back to the word wax cold. Cold in the Greek.
Oh, yeah,
Goes
local
to
mini.
sukkos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go into like wax a waning love.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
that's where you get the word psycho.
So, hey, we can ascertain through the scriptures, we can deduct through the scriptures in that definition. A psycho is an emotionalist person. It's an emotionalist person, man. All right, that's why this Jake, Big Ward, the genius, he was like, we're in a different time right now. Be careful how you communicate with people in public. The person behind the register, because it's hard times and you don't know how they're handling their hard times.
Yeah.
You might be okay psychologically, but they might not be okay.
They really snap.
And they can snap. And a lot of times when they snap and they catch the body or whatever they do, when they come back to themselves, it's like, bro, I didn't know I was gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's a psycho.
It's controlled by a demon.
It's a demon, yeah.
What you seen that with King David? He numbered Israel, and then as soon as he got through number, he came back to the senses and he repented. You know, like I say, once that demon possess you, then you're in full. That demon is in full control of the action of the people.
And the most also cold he did that because Israel was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So he had King David possessed, you know what I'm saying, to judge Israel. I got to prove that a lot too. Bro.
Okay. You got a lot.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 27, verse 11. The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changes as the moon.
Psycho.
Psycho.
That's a psycho.
You know what that means? Hey, read that again.
Run that back.
Ecclesiastes chapter 27, verse 11. The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changes as the moon.
Hey, he has an unpredictable behavior. You don't know what spirit he coming in with.
I see the godly is see men in your house.
Right.
On the L, the scripture that says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Because you're not anchored in those scriptures. You're not anchored in the laws. You're not anchored in the scriptures. You're not anchored in the wisdom. So your behavior is based off your mood, your spirit, what demon is possessing you at the time. All right, you gotta catch.
Well, yeah, just real quick, because you had just mentioned the siren going off. That's quote unquote the so-called first of the month, according to Esau Edom time, you know. But basically, when you hear that siren going off, you know, insinuating it's the first of the month, really it goes back to the Hebrew way, you know, because we did this during the Sabbath or the new moon. And this is Psalm chapter 80, Psalm chapter 81, and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, signaling the first of the month. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
Real fast. Can I match you? This is Isaiah 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another.
Yes. Psalm 81 and 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob.
But this is just another because y'all going into the psycho. So I looked up on Chat GPT, what is a psychopath? And it says a psychopath is a person who shows a specific set of personality traits and behaviors typically associated with a lack of empathy, remorse, and emotional depth, along with manipulative, impulsive, and sometimes criminal behavior.
They go back to psycho.
Psychopath.
Yeah. So, but hey, when he broke down the scripture, it was like the moon. That's like somebody you change based off your emotions, man, as opposed to being anchored by the scriptures. Because we all got demons that tell you things, or temptations, but you don't act off of because of the scriptures. All right. So having that sound mind. All right. But hey, you mentioned how for month to month is the new moon, and how that siren.
You get the elder bio what he had read.
That's what he connected to you. Can you read it again?
Hey, this is Isaiah chapter 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, said Yahweh.
From one new moon to another. But that's where you get the term calendar from, because the word calendar means to call. So what happens is every new moon, because you went into the sound of the trumpet, the tornado siren was the modern way of sounding the trumpet. So every new moon we'll have the sound of the trumpet. And that was the introduction for every new Shabbat. All right. It wasn't based off no Gregorian calendar. There is no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right.
Can I back you up real quick?
Yeah, come on.
One more. Amos 6 and it's like Amos 8 and 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn and the Shabbat?
Yeah, because during the new moon, the Shabbat, everything will close down. Just like you see in this society, these pinnacle, so-called holidays, because holiday go back to holy day. These holidays, according to Esau Edom time, such as Christmas, Thanksgiving, everything was shut down. Well, back in Jerusalem, our homeland, everything was closed down during the new moon and the Sabbath. So you'll know we in the Sabbath, because no business will be conducted. Everybody be home. You know,
Back your point up, the whole town where I'm from, grocery stores were not open. Stores just started open what mid-90s, late 90s, but like in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, the mid-80s, those stores was open.
Wow. Hey,
Sunday.
but you know what? That's another fucking myth that we do the spirit breaking. There's not 24 hours in a day. It's Babylonian systems, man. It's 12 hours in a day. Which breaks down to what 6 to 6. From 6 in the morning. Well, I'm not gonna give the number, but from sundown to sundown. Or sun up to sundown. Yeah, the end of the day, the sundown, man. But it's basically 12 hours in a day. All right? It's 12 hours in a day, man.
Genesis 1 and 5. And the Alahayim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
The evening and the morning were the first day, man. So when the sun goes down, that's a new day. That's the end of the day. When the sun goes down, that's actually you enter into a new day. That's why we do our Shabbats from like your Shabbat ends on the sundown. Your Shabbat start from sundown to sundown, man.
But that's so that's why Esau. It only makes sense why he put 24 hours in a day, because that means he could continue to do oppression, man.
Yep.
Have people working around the clock where there's never no time stood still when it comes to his industry of working, man.
That's why it says, well, hey, get this to be not frantic towards our servants and get that word frantic.
Hey, that's what they talk about. How Shai, like he passed away. You know that like
The ninth hour.
that 9 hours like that day, like he died on this day, he rose on this day.
Yeah.
But they talk about how he died on that day, you know, they took it like, you know, he rose 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But how the preacher talking about it though.
Yeah,
They really don't understand what they're talking about.
It's
Though.
like after the third.
Yeah,
after the third.
Yeah,
a minute after the first,
yeah.
third, he got up.
Yeah, but I think Christians don't understand like
Christian don't understand shit.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But like the nightfall, another day, that's a day.
Yeah.
So they don't understand what they don't understand. That's what I'm
Because Christians can't see past their oppressive system.
Yeah.
It's a paradigm.
Mhm.
You're going to find out that we were living in a so-called white man's paradigm. But there was a world in reality before he came into power and created his own paradigm. But go ahead, Elder Kazak.
Brother, preacher like
Okay.
This is John chapter 11, verse 9. Yahweh shall answer, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbled not, because he seeth the light of this world.
Are there not 12 hours in a day? That speaks plainly, man.
that's straight from the Lord.
Straight
Yeah.
from the Lord.
Yeah.
And this is Daniel 8 and 26. And the vision of the evening and the morning.
Yep.
So the evening brought in the morning.
Yep.
Right? Which was told is true, wherefore shut you be the vision. It's like it shut you up the vision, for it shall be for many days.
And the Most High will align you up with that circadian rhythm to where you'll know in the spirit, I should stop eating after a certain time. Like you'll know in the spirit, I should stop eating after a certain time. Like it's time for the body to rest, for the body to reset, because the body works in cycles. Go ahead, bro.
Another point going into, I had to look up with lunatic thing, but in the Bible it's 13 months. It just so happened that Esau got 12 months, and it's 4 weeks in a month. But 4 of them 12 months got 5 weeks in it. You know what I'm saying? So if you take that extra week out of them 4 months, it goes back to the original 13 months. Esau just changed up everything with the word.
Go ahead, bro.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 30. Be not as
We'll revisit that 13 months.
13 months.
Yeah, we got
Filter that.
yeah, we'll filter that. Because sometimes they'll say that in the commentary, but you know they might not have a proper source. You know, we'll revisit that. Yeah, we want to talk that. Yeah.
This is Sirach, chapter 4, verse 30. Be not as a lion in the house, nor frantic amongst thy servants.
And the house is America. America is the most worked country. You got 3 fucking shifts.
Yeah.
You got a third shift,
Graveyard.
which is the graveyard shift.
Graveyard.
All right, now even with the first shift, sometimes you gotta wake up prematurely. You don't even get your full rest. And don't you know you can throw off your body's healing cycle because you have to wake up prematurely for work. But then you got people on third shift, they're working from like 11 to 7 or 10 to 7. Great, you're a walking dead person, man. Stuffing caffeine down your body, man. That's oppression, man. I really had to spit.
Yeah, look at this shit, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Psalm chapter 104 and verse starting at 22. The sun ariseth, they gather themselves together, talking about the lions, and lay down in their dens. Verse 23. Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening.
That's because you broke it down, Elder Kazak, through the spirit. The sun marks the hours. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand when the sun goes down, you take your black ass home.
Right.
Why would you do agrarian work and you can't see shit? Are you in these tall ass cornfields? I mean, this is as an example. And you gotta have a fucking lantern? No, the lantern is in the sky. So the Most High God, he has all the natural intelligence. The intelligence is within nature.
Look at three lights force.
You damn right. But that's about to say, like, it's like, come on, hey, kind of come on.
Then you got animals that signal that it's like nighttime.
They know.
When you got certain crickets, certain locusts, they all make these. If you're from the country, you ever live in the country, these animals make certain sounds around evening time. The owls, frogs, crickets, and it's all signs of like we're in a new shift. That's Yahweh's night shift. But you got the rooster that's signaling it's morning time.
Time to get up.
Get your ass up!
It's the Heavenly Father alarm clock.
Come on, man. The systems are within nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that shows you how this Babylonian schedule is so out of whack. Because like with the graveyard shifts, why they call it a graveyard shift?
You go to a grave.
If you go early to a graveyard, it's taking years off your life, which throws off your circadian rhythm. That's like your body's eternal clock.
You're supposed to wake up at a certain. Your body's supposed to wake up naturally at a certain time, and it's around the same time. And you're supposed to get sleepy around the same time. You're supposed to take a shit around the same time. That's how you know you're on point. That's how you know you're back in alignment with nature. When you wake up around the same time every morning, when you start getting sleeping around the same time every morning, you take a proper bowel movement around the same time every day. That's how you know. All right, go ahead.
This John chapter 9. This John chapter 9, verse 4. I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day, the night coming when no man can work.
And the Lord was saying that he was speaking from a spiritual standpoint. But we can apply it in the physical as well.
Because the spiritual analogies are built off physical systems. And by the way, when we go back to the kingdom, of course, it's gonna go back to the agrarian world, man. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I can add because at the time frame where Yahushua and the elect, well, the men with the truth were down off for a period of time.
Right. This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, starting at verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress and hire servant that is poor and needy.
Because getting paid every week is oppression. Getting paid every 2 weeks is oppression. Once a month is oppression.
That's right.
All right. Really, if you really get paid a wage servant, you're supposed to get paid by sundown.
Right.
They even got certain temp agencies like that. They'll give you that check when you get done for the day. It might be a $50 check. You got your check for that day. All right.
Don't you supposed to tax wages?
Right.
How can you fucking tax a wage, man?
Really, corporations are supposed to get taxed, not the people.
Right. And then if you tax a wage, then the wage is taxed. Then you take that money that's already taxed, and then you buy food that's taxing. So you take your labor, and they tax your labor, and then you take that money, then you go to the grocery store and you pay a tax on food.
At the end of the year, so like you have to pay them for work, taxes. It's crazy, man.
$400,000 house, you gotta pay tax on it every year.
Hey, brother, got that definition for frantic?
I got it. This is frantic. It says insane, unexplained variant, frenzy, dialectal, from frenzy, affected by wild excitement. Let's go into it.
You're emotional.
Temporarily deranged, delirious, crazed, frantic, mad, crazy.
I can make a point because as a late Spirit been on me to watch certain clips from that movie Dark Knight. I know just speak as a man, but I think that was the best one because Heath Ledger, his character, the Joker, no one has ever been able to top that since. Even that one guy from Suicide Squad, he still can't top the Heath Ledger Joker, and the way he embodied that character. Pretty much, that's the way the average American's gonna be when this society collapses, man. They're gonna be frantic.
He said it though.
Yeah, he did.
Like he said, like the movie, he says how the shit go down. People act that way. But he said it though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I brought up the scripture through the spirit, be not frantic towards our service, because it's a connotation of overworking. It's a such thing as over because we're the banker's servants. And we're being overworked and you're taxing us, man. You're not, and then now it's 3 jobs is the new normal. Why would I fucking work 3 jobs? There's something called work-life balance, man. So you're supposed to go to work, get your wage, go home, recharge, and go do it again, man.
You saw Salah. I'm not sure you bro saw the video. Pastor Hard did. Responding to this guy. Jake hella animated, man. That dude Nino Brown. Pretty much everybody can feel that this society is basically going down, man. And the one famous saying about Joe Salente, when people have nothing more to lose, they lose it. So the average American, like you said, is already overworked. No one has a working life or work at home life balance.
Yeah.
People just work all the damn time, man. So when this shit hits the fan, people gonna lose their shit, man.
Because you know when you get the frog soup concept, right? First of all, the water is hot, right? But you really can't tell that nothing is happening. But when that water start boiling, come on, bro. Yeah, hey, I might have looked up a different word slot. But basically when that water gets too hot, you see pops. It's like pops in the water, the bubble pops, and these crash outs is a result from this society. It's like the pressure's up, the heat is up. So now that's why somebody crashed out. They probably been boiling or overheated for months prior to the crash out.
Going back to that video you and Captain Shapard mentioned, Jake saying you got to be careful, like being out and about and talking to people because you don't know internally what people got going on, man.
There's people crashing out, man, because they can feel it. You can feel the oppression. They're giving you all this social media. They oversaturating your phone with social media and all these distractions. But you pull down on social media, you stressed out and you oppressed. But they oppress you in a very subtle, sophisticated way, man. All right? Super Bowl. So you figure out why these two celebrities broke up. But the reality is, you working 3 jobs to survive. You can't afford eggs. You know what I mean?
Which used to be less than $1.
Hey, they show a picture of the Walmart grocery baskets from the early 2000s versus the Walmart grocery baskets now. You remember 20 years ago, you got a Walmart grocery basket. Your grocery list was packed.
Hey, bro, you're not lying. I used to be a bag boy, and shit, $60, $75, especially $100. That's about 3 or 4 buckets, man.
Yeah.
Like really 2 or 3 buckets.
Yeah, it's crazy. Bro, I spent $30 at Kroger's off like 3-4 items for one recipe. You know what I mean? So okay, you just said about COVID.
That's why like you talk about like you got work so much. That's why the family structure so fucked up because they don't sit down and have dinner no more. Nope. Because guess what? They got to work. So they can't. You can't. And I'm saying that. I know my boss for sure. My boss when kids don't sit down at a table and they got a big ass house table. They don't see each other.
So that came from that. That's right. Hey, Aaron Russo said Rockefeller told him that.
Yeah.
So you get both parents out the household. Now we raise your kids.
Yeah, it did. And now it's so crazy because people need help, but then nobody gets along. So nobody can be in the same house anymore.
It's like a house full of strangers.
It's a house full of strangers. And Eve, a lot of Eve is losing their jobs or they're losing Section 8. But you're conditioning. You can't work with the average man no more. It's like you're a diva that needs help. And now you're incompatible. So people really going to catch it because there's a word in the Western Hemisphere. It's called individualism. The byproduct of the Westernized world is individualism. Whereas the Eastern world is more of a collectivism.
It's not good for men to be alone.
It is not good for man to be alone. So one thing you notice, even people like in Central South America or just in the eastern parts of the world, they all have a group mentality.
like village.
Village mentality. But in America, everybody's hyper individual.
Yeah.
So now it's hard for one individual to fill their refrigerator up with groceries.
Yeah, but you know what? That shows you that Eve gonna feel it the most.
Yep.
You know, I mean, hey, Eve gonna feel it the most. But hey, some of the apostle had mentioned, Isaiah 4:1 is really gonna happen on this side, man. There's a recent video came out. This chick, she spent $10,000 to get a husband. You know, like she, I don't know, he's trying to buy him. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord, he's showing that basically like the man was the prize the whole time. Instead of you working for Esau, Edom, you work for another man's system. Really, the man of your nation, he was the prize. Like you said a while back, bro. That the Israelite man, that's the establishment. Your job is serving him.
Yeah, your last name is the corporation. The way Yahweh Bahashim Shah set up our systems back in our homeland, you inherited your father's estate. Now, today we have the same thing, but those estates have evolved into corporations because Kroger, Wells Fargo, whatever, these all started from individual Edomites. But now they're so high, the scripture says the strangers that is within thee will get above thee very high. So, Eve, you're still working for a master's plantation. You're still a submissive servant. You're just a corporate submissive servant.
You're submissive to something that destroys you.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like the nigga woman was tricked, you know, with these gifts, or the government, you know, these different jobs, and you know, this guarantee, you know, being put on the pedestal. But now they're going back to the frog boiling in the pot. See, now we're seeing the results of the seed that was planted way back then.
Yeah.
You know, see, we haven't even seen the results of this the seed. See, what Esau does, he plants the seeds now for the reality that he wants 12 to 13 years later. Like this Russian KJB, that guy, he said, I forgot his name, but he was the Russian secret service intelligence. So he said in order to change the viewpoint of society, it usually takes 12 to 13 years. So what we're seeing them doing now, they're planting seeds for the reality that they want in the next 12 to 13 years. Like if we was here another 12, 13 years, like you would really see Sodom and Gomorrah on a whole nother level. Yeah. But that's the seeds that they plant now. Drag queen story time. Yeah. You know, everything is in the movies. You know, everything has a gay scene. Yeah. You know, a mo scene. Yeah.
The White House.
Yeah.
Hey, since you said that, I make a point. And all these seeds goes where? Not to your conscious mind. Subconscious.
It's not a period of time.
Yeah.
Because it's going to the demoralization.
Yeah, demoralization. Yeah. Because we looked it up the other day. Chief Keef that I don't like came out in 2012. That was 13 years ago. So now if you look at that music video, the average Jake just like that with the ski mask, you know, like Jake coming across they graduated in the ski mask. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you look, that seed was planted. If you look at that Chief Keef, don't like, it was in 2012, 13 years ago when it came out.
That nigga was a sire.
Yep. Like I said, it's all gradual. Like even back in the day with that nigga named Sidney Poitier. You know what I'm saying? They had him dressing up in drag. You know what I'm saying? That was back in like what the fucking 60s. You know what I'm saying? Then you get Jamie Foxx in Living Color. You know, it was all gradually coming up, man. Fresh Prince, you know, and that was over a span of years, man, decades.
Yep. And them just pictures. You go in the video, and them just Jake, they was just like.
Hey, but that's Esau's little monster.
Yeah.
Hey, same thing with Sexy Red, right? Ain't gonna remember. But now they got pictures of women taking family pictures with their offspring, but the woman is half naked.
Yeah. It started with who? Lil' Kim?
Lil' Kim. She was the first one. And really, Foxy Brown, Jack, the 70s.
Il Nana.
Oh, yeah. They Nana, though.
Yeah, the Il Nana go back to deity that they worship during the time of Nimrod. You know, ancient Babylon. You know, they clean the head with shit.
So Eve wants to be worshipped as a deity, but now her enchantment is done.
Right. It's Romans 8:19 within the NLT. For all creation is waiting eagerly for that future day when Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua will reveal who his children really are.
All creation. All creation, man. Everybody.
Against its will, all creation was subjected to the Most High's curse. But with eager hope, the creation looks forward to the day when it will join the Most High's chosen people in glorious freedom from death and decay.
What's the update with that, though?
Well, yeah, Because yeah, the brother priest Bashad, or Swan Bashad, he had mentioned ultimately it's going into us getting a new bodies, you know. But we do know that you know, the Lord, He's gonna uplift the curse that's been on earth since the time of Adam. You know what I'm saying? You know, the other nations, they, you know, ultimately wants to come back in power, but really that's going into us getting new bodies.
And that curse started in the garden, and that the decaying of paradise started with the transgression of Adam. So ever since the transgression of Adam, there was a slow decay. So because when the earth, yeah, ever since the transgression of Adam was a slow decay. Because and like the documentary was going into the days of the time of Noah before the flood. Mountains used to be covered with meadows.
Yeah, bro.
Mountains used to be covered with grass.
They were precious stones all on the
precious
ground.
stones on the surface.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have to dig the stones up.
Yep.
And you already know the fruit. One cluster, one grape was a, yeah. So and it's now we understand why they call it the beginning paradise. All right. But now we're at the death phase of it. That's why, look, man, you don't see berries anywhere. You don't smell fruit. All right, look at what color is that water right there behind us, man? Come on, man.
Come back you
You got it. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Verse 22 to 23. For we know that all creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. And we believers also groan, even though we have the Holy Spirit within us as a foretaste of future glory. For we long for our bodies to be released from sin and suffering.
Woo.
We too wait with eager hope for the day when the Most High will give us all our full rights as His adopted children.
And that's why no matter how hard you try, you fuck up somewhere.
Right.
No matter what lights you have, what spirit you have, you fuck because you're wired to that. But in the kingdom, you're not gonna fuck up.
Yeah, including the new bodies He has promised us.
Yeah. And this is Genesis 3:19. In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread.
Right, because after the transgression, Adam had to till the land. At first, the earth fed him. It's like a tree reach his hand. I mean, it's like a tree reach his hand towards like here, you know. But now you got to work for it, man.
So accessible.
And that shows, you know, nothing to do on the sun. Because like the elder was just saying, we used to man just go out in the field, in the forest, pick apples, you know, berries and everything. But now look, now once again, you just can't go out there and do that, man. You know?
Back in Genesis 3:19, in the sweat of your face shall you eat bread. You don't have to till, work for it, till you return to the ground.
Hey, somebody get that Ezekiel 36. I was gonna be better than the beginning. It's gonna be the last round of scripture.
And it's the bar to eat. Yeah, I want to say that y'all remember the old video that they said we can't wait for y'all to come back to you.
That's right.
And look, we brought the streets out there. I've thought about it though.
Yeah.
So soon we get back in power.
Gonna restore order.
Everybody gonna be good.
It's gonna benefit everybody.
It's gonna be everybody.
What
Right
happened?
now,
Yep.
right now, oh
What happened when Simba won the war against Sparks?
yeah,
Everybody, bro.
Yeah, when Foster was in power,
yeah.
it was a garden. When
Mhm.
Scar was in power, it was a death state, man.
Scarce.
It was scarcity, man. All right, so we had the righteous rulers have to come back under
Right.
Yahushua, man.
Right, bro.
Right.
Now, so we're saying in the Apocrypha, multitude of the wise, it's the welfare of the world. You know? So everybody's gonna benefit off the vibration of the Israelites.
Yeah, because wisdom creates security for the nation. Wise rulers create security for the people, man. That's why we have a child in power. And look at the fucking plan.
Yeah.
If you put a child as the leader of your house and you leave, what's gonna happen to their house?
Destroy it.
Come on, man.
I seen that with my grandma, my granddaddy died. You know, the house started going down. You know, niggas started hanging around. You know, I seen my granddad. It was just lively. It was structured. It was certain my uncles couldn't even stop by. You know, they were banished. You know what I'm saying? They was niggas. But then my granddaddy died, and my grandmother was running. You had whole families in one room.
Yeah.
Niggas shooting dice at it, you know, like it just went down, you know.
Because what's a part about normalcy is actually a curse. Low life is a product of low life is a result of no leadership. So when the real leadership leaves, you know, low life comes. And with his females and males. So
It's the Ezekiel 36:8. You want it? It says, "But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches and shall yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at For they are at hand to come. Verse 9. But behold, I am for you, and I will turn.
It also showed that two people ain't there yet. Yep. He said they are yet at hand to come. Because you look at Israel now, it's dusty as hell, man. You know, because that land itself is mourning because her people are not in it. Yeah, that land was created for us. You know,
She dry for him. She ain't get wet for him, man.
Verse 9. But behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. Verse 10. And I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it, and the city shall
That's
be
what I was going to say. And so all Israel shall be saved. You know, ultimately all Israel gonna be in the kingdom, but this first go round, the Lord is only gonna save His elect. You know.
And the city shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be built. 11. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit, and I will
And
settle.
going back to the beginning, because you read in the 613 laws, I have to go back over it. I want to say like one of them laws, it actually mentions be fruitful and multiply. So we're actually gonna fulfill that within the kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, beginning with the Israelites, but as well as the other nations and even the animals, man. You know.
So what does that mean, man? It means that there's gonna be sexual activity going on. You know, a lot of men say it ain't gonna be none of that action, but I mean, it's in the scripture.
It's in the scripture. That's the kingdom of heaven speaking of.
Yeah, people think that the creator, he didn't factor in sex because Esau Romanized it. So you think you've been a deviant by even discussing that? It's for reproduction, and it's sacred. Hey, marriage is honorable and a bed undefiled. So yeah, your wives, those are your wives.
Yeah, and it's pleasurable too.
Yeah.
What did King Solomon say? And the pleasure came with sleep. So for reproduction and pleasure.
Because the earth is full of pleasure.
That's right.
Why? Come on, you ever had a orange, a pineapple, a real peach?
Yeah.
That's pleasure.
And like you say, that pleasure was an incentive to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the pleasure attached to particular things because you reward the behavior that you want.
That's right.
You reward the behavior that you.
Let's go, child.
All right.
Here's the point. It says, and I will settle you after your old estates, and I will I will do better unto you than at your old beginnings.
You know how good it's gonna feel to go home, to finally go home, man. You know,
and be lords.
and be lords over our land as we were going back to the beginning, man. You know, I know this brother, he tough on it, but you know, all the different, you know, you look at these particular ancient movies, they'll show you how kings move, you know, how kings had castles, the way that the cities were built, you know, the architecture, the landscape, how much more within the land of Israel, man. You know, banners, you know, gonna be flags, you know, showing, you know, which estates belong to which brothers, man.
Yeah,
You know?
because the word Lord is a weighty title, and the word Lord it's a title. See, we're such fucking digital peasants. We don't understand that certain men in this planet have lordship. So if you have lordship, that means you're friends with the king. So you got the king, he's in power, and he grants you lordship. That means you don't pay to check into a high-end hotel. You got access to go to the theater. You could go certain places in his kingdom, and you got access. So it's basically you're friends with the king, and you have lordship in his dominion. You have access, diplomatic immunity, man. So it says we're gonna be lords over the new land, man, under the kingdom of Yahushua. So his men that pass these hours of temptation, that make it through the fire, you're gonna have lordship in the kingdom of heaven, man.
Brother, I was getting into it. Amen.
Meaning, which is why nations gonna come bending to you. Nations gonna, when you walk in a particular area, people come, oh, that's him.
Yeah. You know, coming to America.
It is him.
Romans 8:16.
Yeah.
Hey, but we see that vibration in this lower nature society dealing with those Arabian kings.
Right.
They have those foreign cars like Lamborghinis and stuff like that. And they can drive over the speed limit however much they want to. They get stopped by the police. They can't get turned in because they're kings to the, they're friends with the king. Going to that diplomatic immunity, man.
You see them damn Saudi princes,
Yeah.
you know.
They can't be touched.
Yeah, and we was gonna say years ago, bro, before Dubai even became popular, the spirit was on us to look that up.
Yeah.
We gonna be living better than that, bro.
You seen that with Daniel. That's why Daniel couldn't be judged by no man on earth. That's why the Lord always intervened. When they tried to judge Daniel, set him up, the Lord will intervene. But like, nah, he got the favor of the king. You got the
This Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof.
Better is the end of this rulership than the beginning of it, man. We're at the tail end of this, man. Every time I see a store go out of business, it reminds me at the end of this thing,
right, brother.
even if it was a store that I wanted to go to because I had an appetite,
Yeah.
it's like, oh shit, it's closed. Yeah, it's over with, man.
Nice Mexican spot we went to Friday night. No,
Yeah.
what you say?
Short on waitresses.
Yeah.
And then
It's a telltale sign. He like ready to shut down.
it's an African shop turned to a braiding shop.
We would have listened to Paul. We'll still been in there.
I told you that they had turned Books a Million into a damn weave shop.
Yeah, Books a Million is a damn weave shop.
Yeah, Eve, you know. Babylon through, man.
Your soul,
I got some for that. What up? That was a demon, bro. Yeah. Hey, I gotta bag my brother up. This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 2. It's I could break it down. Verse 1, Revelation 22, verse 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb.
Yeah, in the kingdom, you know, we're gonna have knowledge of these particular things that we're not privy to now.
Mhm.
Everything we know now, this is what we need to know to be delivered. You scripture speak about things that accompany salvation, but in the kingdom, you know, that which is in part, we just don't be done away. We'll have knowledge of you know, the zodiac. You know what I'm saying? The elders mentioning the farmer's almanac. You know what I'm saying? No understanding, you know, more of the laws of nature, and you know, having a better idea how to, you know, work with agriculture. We'll have that knowledge in the kingdom. But that specifically is going to, you know, the zodiac signs.
Right. Verse 2, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month.
Right, yeah, right. Those particular 12 signs, man.
Zodiac,
you know,
12 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the leaves of the tree were of the healing of the nations.
Because the Lord deal with that number 12.
Yeah.
He does. Like that's the Lord. But yeah, I think he was talking about that leap year.
Yeah, I want to correct myself.
So it ain't no 13 months. 12.
Yeah, Google will try to tell you that it's 13 months with a so-called leap year. But if you ask the scriptures, there are no scriptures to show that there's a 13th month or a 13-month leap year. So I just want to correct that. You know, there is no 13 month in the Bible.
Hey, well, that's why we brought out Revelation, 22 and verse 1 and 2.
And what does 12 represent in the scriptures? Rulership. When you had Yahweh shot and 12 disciples. Jacob had 12 patriarchs,
12 thrones, 12 gates.
12 thrones, 12 gates. Edom had 12 dukes. Ishmael had 12 sons. So, like you said, the Most High deals with numbers. You know, and those numbers have vibrations. You know, 12 months, 12, not 12, man.
12 stones on the high priest.
Oh yeah,
Right. Brother, I think about it. I ain't no name of it. If I tell them about it, I ain't know.
Yeah,
So like you said earlier, right now it's a Babylonian system where they do 60. That's where you get the 60-minute hour, you know, the 60-second minute. All that goes back to the math of ancient Babylon.
Yep. Yeah, and we don't deal with the vibration of 6 in the scriptures like that. Howard Shire really deals with the vibration of 7. That's why you got like the year of Jubilee. That's what every 49 years. That's 7 times 7. You know, Howard Bashmal Shire, the number of his creation was really 7.
Satan is 6.
Say it again.
Satan
normally deals with that 6 vibration, which 6 is like one short of 7. One is one short of completion. You know.
All right, we'll show you who this is in the spirit. 1 Kings 4 and 7 NLT. Solomon also had 12 district governors who were all over Israel.
12 district governors who are all over Israel.
So when he came back in his full perfection, that's Yahweh Shah. What did he have?
12 disciples.
So it says they were responsible for providing food for the king's household. Each of them arranged provisions for 1 month of the year. So from the spiritual sense, the disciples did the same thing. They became apostles. The food was spiritual.
12 district governors.
Bread, that miracle with the bread, they distributed that bread amongst the spirit.
We're gonna go to draw this to a closing. And we hope you were edified. Once again, we want to give out honor and glory to one of your double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Baba Baba, Shalom, Shalom.
No,